This is a site plan of the Verizon project. It's a Google image with overlay of the site plan showing the north, southwest, and southeast sector propositions. This image is the elevations of lot 61 relative to Sunny Hill Street. You will note the base of the fence is at 1503 feet and the street elevation is 1485 feet. There are two houses adjacent to the tower that are at the level of the street. This slide shows the image and the document, which was the conditions of use permit for the additional water facility on Sunny Hill Street. Specifically, condition number 4 stated that in order to reduce the visual impact of the fence and improvements, landscaping should be installed the entire perimeter of the property to a minimum of 8 feet. And you can see here that this is the southwest section and the fence is exposed. So this is in non-compliance with the original conditions of use of this property from the 1980 condition. This image shows what a typical sector will look like along the tower, which is proposed. The two center apexes will be at 14 feet and the flanking at 12 feet. Each of the antennas is 6 feet tall and 1 foot wide. So the flanking two antennas will be 6 feet off the ground. Per the condition of landscaping on condition number 4 from the original conditions of use permit, the landscaping should be at the level of 8 feet. That would mean that the bottom 1/3 or the bottom 2 feet of each flanking antenna would be covered by landscaping. This imagery is from Google Maps from 2019, and it's highlighting the north sector, specifically 3 large pine trees that are in direct adjacent position to what is proposed as the north sector. This image shows the overlay of the site plan to that same Google image, showing the sector on the north, which will be directly where those 3 large pine trees are. This image shows the north sector with the large pine trees behind there. The tree must be a minimum of 30 feet based on the elevations of the fence, which is at 8 feet, and the towers, which are at 14 and 12 feet. This is a drone photo taken from the center of the reservoir looking at the north sector. These trees that block the improvements of the water reservoir and fencing from Sunny Hill Street are in compliance with the original conditions of use as described in 1980. However, if the north sector is to be placed where it is currently being proposed by Verizon, it is clear that these pine trees, and there are 3 of them, must be removed in order for this north sector to function properly. This is a photo of the notice that I received from the applicant. When I met with John Haminski at the site, this is what he presented to me, and he told me that the antennas would be placed at this section, and this is the document he presented. Note in the left corner of the utility structure. As it turns out, based on the plans that have been submitted to the city, this is approximately 50 feet to the east of where the actual antennas will be placed. At no point did he tell me that any trees would need to be removed in order for the antennas to be functional. Here's a drone photo showing where the proposed north site is versus where it was represented to me by the Verizon consultant at the site meeting. Note again the utility structure in the left corner. It is clear that he misrepresented where he told me that antennas would be placed. It was in the clearing of the fence, and where the site plan is in the application that's been submitted to the city, the antennas will be directly behind those north trees. Again, those north trees will have to be removed in order for this to work. This imagery is another drone shot taken looking from the tower out towards the adjacent homes, highlighting the southwest sector. What I'm trying to demonstrate in this picture is that every house that you see in this photo will then directly see these antennas. The proposed plan will create a significant negative visual impact to every house seen in this photo. This photo shows the south sectors. The sectors closest to the homes are the southeast and the other ones are the southwest. What this image is showing is that the south part of the whole water tank and perimeter fence is not covered by landscaping as per the condition number 4 from 1980. And if that condition were to be maintained, the bottom 1/3 of these flanking antennas would be covered by the landscaping. This image shows a picture taken from high country from Rayburn, showing the water reservoir on the ridge line. As you can see, because of the non-compliance of the original condition, the southwest sector and the southwest section of the fence is not covered and is creating a negative visual impact. However, the north sector is in compliance and is creating a nice softening of the visual impact of the improvements that exist on Sunny Hill Street. This is that same photo from Rayburn with the digitally enhanced version of what it would look like if those north trees were removed. And this situation would create, again, a negative visual impact to the ridgeline from the homes in high country in that area looking at the Sunny Hill site. This is a ridgeline photo taken from high country on Golf Course Drive. And what it is highlighting is how the north sector trees are nicely screening the improvements on Sunny Hill Street. Note the north trees, you can use the smart meter here as a reference point. If you look carefully on the left, just above the ridge of this house, you'll see the fence on the southeast. This is that same photo from Golf Course in high country, digitally enhanced, showing the improvements in the antennas. Again, remember, the fence is at 8 feet. The antennas will be at 12 and 14 feet. Once this north trees are removed, the sectors will be visible on the ridgeline from high country, from streets such as Rayburn and Golf Course Drive. This image shows from the north sector and the southeast sector how 7 homes are less than 250 feet from the antennas. The closest being Bob Dirks' house and Kay Dirks' house at 90 feet. This is a picture of the North Ranch Station. It shows that it's 380 feet from the residential structure and it's mounted 30 feet in the air. The Oak Park Station is on top of a hill, again, 450 feet away from the residential structure and several hundred feet above any residential structure. The Lindero Station is in the North Ranch Playfield, again, 30 feet up in the air, 380 feet from the homes. And the Thousand Oaks Station, which is on this structure off of Fairview Fire Road, 480 feet from the residential structures and over 100-foot elevation above the residential structures. The next set of images will be the propagation maps that Verizon provided to the city. The first here is without Candlecrest installation. I've overlaid Google Maps in order to show the streets. In their imagery here, the purple demonstrates where they say there's a gap in coverage. What is important to note is the northernmost part of this photo are in the foothills of the high country area where there are no homes. This is basically an open space. There's no homes where I have this rectangular box drawn. The other area in below Canaan where there is the purple demonstrated, a lot of which are the fairways of North Ranch Country Club. And this is a demonstration of the fairways by some shapes that I've drawn. And the red dots demonstrate areas where I was able to make a phone call with my Verizon phone to a landline in my home. This means that these areas where Verizon claims there's a gap in coverage, I was able to make a phone call, which I have recorded on a separate video that you may watch, that I've submitted into the public record, that each of these areas in North Ranch where Verizon claims there's a gap in coverage, I made a phone call with my Verizon phone to my landline successfully. The area here is with the North Ranch coverage with Candlecrest, and one public speaker at the Planning Commission meeting stated that Valley Spring is an area where that person does not get coverage. And what this imagery is demonstrating is that with the addition of Candlecrest at the Sunny Hill site, there is no improvement on Valley Spring. The next set of imagery are the propagation maps without the coverage proposed by Verizon in Country Club Estates. Again, the purple demonstrates where they claim there's a gap in coverage. To note here is that these areas, there are no homes. The area in Country Club Estates, majority of which are of purple where you see are the fairways in Country Club Estates. to the left where the rectangle is drawn is in the foothills to the west of Westlake Boulevard. There's no homes in this section. Again, here is where I've overlaid the satellite imagery to show where the fairways exist throughout the purple. Again, this is the imagery that I have that I've made phone calls from all of the red dots on these locations where they claim, that is Verizon claims, that there's a gap in coverage. I was able to make a successful phone call on my Verizon phone to a landline without a problem. Again, this is under a separate video that I've submitted into the public record to demonstrate there is no gap in coverage where Verizon claims that there is. This is an image of the North Sector towers with my home on the left and the towers on the right. Also to the north is the McRae home, and behind is the Dirks home. And what this demonstrates is the elevation in which these towers will be installed, as well as the effective radiated power and the distance to the homes. These antennas, per the specs on the engineering report, have a vertical beam width of 12 degrees, and they will be installed at a 4-degree downward tilt. That means overall these will be spraying down towards the street at 16 degrees. And for 24/7, 365 days a year, the radiation that is coming off of these antennas will be directly hitting my home. I was told by staff that don't worry, these beams will be above your head, and that's not the case. If this tower was installed 50 feet in the air, that may be the case. However, due to the condition of this location, the water reservoir is such that it's low to the ground because of a visual aspect perspective, and therefore it is forcing these antennas also to be low to the ground, which are only 6 feet off of the fence base, and therefore are significantly pushing the beams vertically towards the street and directly on top of the homes. This is not acceptable. And the other thing to remember is that this is 12,000 watts, atypical to any of the other installations this close to anybody's home.